We appreciate everybody coming out, seeing the end of practice, and joining us for the conference. You know, we're excited to get back to game week. Last week was a good week for us to take some time, try to really develop our young players, get a couple guys healthy, and really try to improve. You know, we're challenged this year in that we have 3 bye weeks. We have 2 in the, I think the first 4 or 5 games. So we have to use those wisely. And I thought our team worked hard last week to become a better team. So we're excited to enter game week now, to welcome Delaware State and Coach Blunt's team to Lincoln Financial Field, and really more importantly for us to fight for a win. You know, we don't take winning lightly. We know how hard it is to win football games, and we're going to go out there and fight for a win. I've had a couple of messages, for the team this week. I think the first thing is, everybody wants to win, but not everybody wants to be a great team. There's not many great teams. I think we have a good team. I mean, I like our team. I think we've played well at times, but we're certainly not a great team yet. So we're fighting the good fight to become a great team. And a great team plays great on Saturdays. It doesn't just prepare great, it plays great. So that's really our first challenge, is to go play like a great team. I'm trying to get the team, secondly, to kind of understand that we need to have a brand, was not pleased with, I don't mind losing games, but I was not pleased with the way we played at Navy, to allow the other team to run the ball on us, for us not to be able to run the ball. It's not really the way we want to play. We've shown them the mid-70s Flyers, having an identity, having a brand, and trying to get our team to buy into the fact that, win or lose, we need to have a brand that we believe in and we fight for every week. And then finally, the third thing that we're talking to our team about this week is really establishing our home field. We've been too quick as coaches, staffs, players, everybody to allow ourselves to lose at home, whether it's UCF at the end of the game, UConn with a lead, or last Saturday with a chance to win at the end and not to come through. We've got to start to fight for our home field. So I think those are the 3 things we're looking at this week as a team, and we're looking at Delaware State, a team that really should have beaten Towson last week. Towson, I think, went to the semifinals or the finals of the national championship game. They were beating them late in the fourth quarter. They have several really good players. They're wide out, number 11, Milton Williams, is as good as any receiver we'll see. They have a defensive tackle, Rodney Gunter, number 95, that's an NFL player that can create a lot of problems for guys, has created a lot of problems for guys. And they have Eris Scott, a kid that we recruited out of high school, took a kick back, and we know what he can do. So they have a lot of other players besides those guys, but those are 3 guys that our team is really focused on. And as we get ready for this challenge, of Delaware State, that we know we have to control those guys if we want to have a chance to win the game. So with that, I'll see if you guys have any questions. Yeah, I think, we have a lot of coaches on our staff. I think every coach on our staff has probably coached at the FCS level at one point. And a lot of us had a lot of teams that we know could have played against a lot of guys. And when I was at Western, some of these coaches were on the team. We could have beaten a lot of teams. And so we certainly understand that, as coaches. I don't know that the players understood it till they stood on the field last year and saw Fordham beat us. And we watch college football every week. We see, North Dakota State go beat Iowa State, and then Iowa State turn around and beat Iowa. We see, McNeese State almost beat Nebraska. So you see it week in and week out. But for the players to have lived through that last year, I think that now this week has given them the sense of urgency to concentrate on this opponent and really take time to concentrate on this opponent and watch that Towson tape and watch that Delaware tape and say, okay, let me make sure I'm ready to play and play at a high level against them. Yeah, I don't necessarily think that way about versus we're going to get ready for these guys. I just think in order for us to win, we have to run the football, and we're not running the football right now. And the answer is always usually from the outside is to say, okay, well, what should we do? Who's going to run it, right? And I think our issues are maybe a little bit deeper right now. We're just not moving people on the offensive line. We're protecting really well, but we're not moving people on the offensive line. And going into the season, I try to tell everybody that would be our concern, right? Would we be able to block at a high level? So we're going to play some different backs and try to establish a running back, but the onus is really on Kyle Friend and Shabazz Ahmed and Deion Dawkins and Eric Lofton and Brendan McGowan, Leon Johnson. They've got to start to move people. We've got to start to establish the line of scrimmage, because if we can't win up front, we won't win. I don't know if there's a lot of teams that run that really win, have won running the ball against Navy or Vanderbilt. They're two good fronts. So I think our guys want to run the football. but I don't know that we've just run it at a high enough level. And it's not that we're deficient talent-wise. We're just not doing it yet. We've got to do it. And we're not finishing blocks at the level that we should. We're not playing with an edge at the level that we should. And what we don't want to do is we don't want to just turn around and say, hey, PJ, win the game for us every week, right? I mean, we want the other guys to go play. And, Jalen Fitzpatrick's flying around playing. Some other guys, but up front, we want to just start to surge. Because if we can run the football, then that'll make everything else that PJ and the receivers are doing go at a much higher level.
Throwing the ball into the end zone, you're going to be throwing the ball in the end zone to tie the game. Do you take things out of that? Like you say, guys, we didn't play great, but it's a pretty good team. We were still there.
Yeah. I think Coach Paterno used to say to us when I was playing for him, he said, you're never as good as you think you are when you win. You're never as bad as you think you are when you lose. And that's you're coming out of Vanderbilt, I was screaming at the team saying, hey, guys, trust me now. We got to play better. And at Navy, I'm saying, hey, guys, calm down. We'll play better. So just getting them to understand that, you have to play great, and we certainly didn't play great against Navy. And Navy's the kind of team you can't not play great against. I mean, they're going to win a lot of games. We have got to just get to the point where we play great. But I think our team can realize that we're going to be in every game, but we're not going to blow people out. They're all going to be a dogfight down to the end, and we better start to enjoy that, right? We better start to enjoy the fact it's going to come down to the end. We got to play well to the end and find a way to win the game at the end. We've got to find a way to take games from other people. We had a chance to take the game from Navy at the end, steal it from them like people did to us last year. We didn't do it. Okay, coming back this week. Now we have to try to do that against Delaware State. I think I said that to you guys on the field at Vanderbilt. I said, it was great that we won the game like that, but we still have to prove that we can take a game from somebody at the end. And, that's our next step. He missed most of camp. He had a good early part of camp. He missed most of camp early on, and then kind of was getting healthy, and then got hurt right before Navy. So we really haven't seen what David can really do, But I think as a staff, we've made a decision we're going to play him, spot him. I mean, just get him in there and see if he can make an impact on special teams, on returns, and in the run game. He's a quick, dynamic, explosive player. I just haven't seen him get hit yet. I haven't seen him, take a hit in a college football game and run with the ball. So we'll work him in. He won't be the primary guy by any means, but we'll start to work him in, and we think he'll be a really good prospect at running back. He's still kind of limping around, So I mean, right, he practiced today, so he'd be ready to go. And Connor is preparing as if he's the starter, so Connor's ready to go. And whichever one's, if PJ's healthy, he'll play. If not, we'll put Connor in there, and we expect Connor to win the. No, it was on that quarterback sneak. We didn't get it on fourth down. He played the rest of the game with it, and then just hasn't been able to get healthy since. So he'll get it there. It's just not there yet. Yeah, I mean, like I said, we'd spot him. We won't start him, or he won't play like significant minutes, but he'll rotate in there at some point and have some touches. Yeah, today was his first even practice, individual. That he was able to do individual drills today for the first time, and he's not getting hit yet or anything, so he's a ways away. I just think it's to probably get a little more comfortable in the pocket. I mean, we're protecting it so much better of a level than we had last year. He doesn't have to get out back there and start running around. He can kind of sit in there and make some throws. So we have to do a better job of maybe making him comfortable. I think in that game, if we catch the ball better early on, I think he's on his way to a record-setting day. But we can't throw a swing around to running back and just drop it, and kind of have to start to press. But I think he just has to get a little bit more comfortable in the pocket. And then again, throwing that deep ball in the end zone, throwing balls up for picks. It's not what we want. And then the final piece, obviously, at the end of the game, just learn how to manage the end of the game a little bit better.
What's going on with Zaire this year?
He's just a fourth-team running back right now. He's trying to find a way to get on the field. Yeah, I think, I think. He's fourth team. I don't, I don't know what to say. I mean, it's like we keep talking about it, and I with all due respect to him, it's okay. You can be the starting tailback on a 2-win team. You got to get better, right? You have to play at a higher level, and we're trying to get Zaire to play at a higher level. And he has flashes, he has moments, and other times he doesn't. And he's, like I said, sometimes with running backs, if you're not 100% healthy, you start to. You don't play at a real high level. You know what I'm saying? Like if you got a bad back or a bad ankle, you're not the same back. And so Zaire's going to come back and be a heck of a player. Just right now, he's not there right now. Yeah, he was hurt before, but I mean, he's just dealing with, they're all kind of dealing with things. Kenny missed most of last week in practice, and Jamie's had a hamstring, and Zaire's got a back, and some other things that are just bothering him, so he's just not where he wants to be right now. I would not expect to see Zaire guys anytime soon until he gets right. So.
The turnovers happened last week. What are you looking to do to fix that this week?
Say it one more time.
With the turnovers happened last week against Navy, what are you looking to do to fix that?
I think we're leading the nation in turnover margin right now, though. So we're number one in terms of protect. I mean, we've had two now. We've turned the ball over 4 times this year, I think, right? 4 times. One was the punt at Navy, right? So the offense only turned, and then the last play of the game last week. So we've protected the ball. Well, I think the biggest thing is just PJ just not throwing the ball up. You know what I mean? Like, we'll have some bad things happen. I just don't want, hey, let me try to make a play and throw the ball up. Right? Just take what's there, get the ball in the guy's hands, and throw. But if there's things that we're doing well, I mean, we're kicking the ball well. If the things that we're doing well, we're winning the turnover margin. I think we're leading the nation in takeaways. At least we were going into last Saturday. We didn't play Saturday, so we have 10 takeaways. So it's just, I think PJ just saying, you know what, I'm not going to throw the ball up. I'm going to protect the ball. So it's very similar to what I said to you guys all camp, right? I mean, understand the situation and don't throw it up. Check the ball down when it's there.
How would you assess Rhule playing safety? And
Yeah, Alex is still a ways away. I mean, maybe Connecticut, probably more like Tulsa. Probably wouldn't even say Connecticut, probably Tulsa, right? Because we have the bye week, and we were anxious to get Alex back out there. Yeah, I thought Will Hayes went into that game last week against Navy and played his tail off. I mean, if he wasn't out there, it would have been even worse. I mean, he really, really played hard. Jihad did some good things, but Will came in and played at a high level. So I'm expecting both of those guys to continue to play. Boye's healthy now, and Nate Smith is back out there now, so he's healthy. So we have 4 or 5 safeties we feel like can play, and then Alex will, when he gets back, obviously play a lot for us. They've played well. Tavon's played really, really, really well. Champ's coming along. Kyrie Lucas is playing well, and Anthony Davis is playing well. So to have really 3 newcomers at corner playing for us. Roby's had to play safety for us because of the injuries to, at safety. So to have 3 young guys, and then Saquon Jefferson's gotten some spot duty, Arshwell Foster, but really those 4 guys have played pretty good. They not necessarily challenged in the Navy game, in a throw game perspective, but against Vanderbilt, we're able to make some plays on the ball and not get beat deep. If we can just avoid big plays, if our pass rush is rushing the way they did the first game, we'll hopefully be able to play good defense.
On third downs, do you think a solid run game on the third and shorts where you spread out formations would help ease that transition to get a first down in those third 2?
Yeah, if we're running the ball better, yeah, I think when we run the ball, if we can run the ball at a high level, it makes everything go, right? It makes, you feel like, just think about this now. You lost that game by 7 points, and we had a fourth and less than a yard on the 30-yard line that we couldn't get. I mean, those are the inches that cause losing. So we just have to run the ball at a higher level in crucial situations and really all situations if we want to win. Just a consistency in terms of his, work ethic and production. I mean, he has some really high moments. He has some moments where he gets tired and doesn't play at quite as high a level. And I think just for him, growing into that receiver position and just being more consistent, he's flashed. Obviously he's made plays. It's just we need it each and every day from him. Yeah, I think Eaton would play more. Yancey I was ready to play Yancey a ton, and he pulled a hamstring last week. Bentel Bryant, we're really thinking he's redshirting. He's going to be one heck of a player. Just needs a little time to get bigger and stronger. And Derek Thomas will play more this week. Derek Thomas is coming along. So.
Is it fair to believe that PJ's struggles with the quarterback have made it easier for defenses to scheme against stopping the run this year?
I feel like I think everyone that plays us defends really the throwing our throws, right, and tries to make us run the ball. And that's why we have to run. You know what I mean? Like they're defending PJ and the passing game, and we have to find a way to run it. So I don't think anyone schemed us in the run game as much as we haven't blocked anybody at the level we need to yet, which is being corrected as we speak. So.
What about the offensive line's contribution to the running game? Is there anything that you're seeing that needs to be improved? What's your impression of the offensive line?
Like I was saying earlier, I just think that we have to move people. We're not moving people. We're not finishing blocks yet. We're getting on guys, right? And you see a crease, and all of a sudden it's swallowed up. Which that's what happens when you play, SEC teams, bowl teams, Navy. Those guys are good teams. They're going to get off blocks, and we have to assert our will and not allow them to get off blocks. So we've worked really hard over the last week to get that to happen, where we're not just, letting them fall off blocks, where we're moving guys. 50-50, right? If you have technique, it gives you a chance, and then you have to have something inside you that just refuses to let your guy make the tackle. You know what I mean? And if you have guys who they refuse to let their guy make the tackle, then eventually you'll wear people down. If you have guys who are just kind of okay with it, and like, I did my job, then it kind of looks that way. So we have guys that are tough guys. They want to do a good job. They're just developing, right? Shabazz Ahmed's played his second college game at offensive line, not even guard, at offensive line. So they're coming.
How does Zaire get back there? I mean, 5 yards of carry last year. How did you get him back to being that contributor he was last year?
I was just telling these guys, I think he's a ways away from that right now. I mean, he's just, like I said, he's just trying to maybe find his groove. He had been banged up a little bit. He's trying to get healthy and trying to find a role that he can play. So I think right now he's just not in the mix right now. He's just trying to. He's a ways away.
Armando Lynch made a sensational catch last week against Navy. I see him more as a Devin Funchess type, wide up, big kind of guy in Michigan's offense. Do you see him that way?
I don't even know. I'm sorry, I don't know who that is. You're saying? Give me a.
Big 6'5", 250 mismatch right there.
Yeah, I think that's what you'd like Ramon to be. I mean, especially down the red zone where he's, because he's not going to stretch the field as much as maybe some other guys. But his height, his size should, present a mismatch for people. And he made the catch at Vanderbilt down in the red zone that was out of bounds, but he caught it. So I think corners are going to have a hard time with him. And made the catch at the goal line against Vandy when he ran a slant. So he can present one or two different things that people are going to have a hard time with.
Matt, how do you continue the momentum you guys generated from these early turnovers? How important is that for you guys to keep getting the ball back and getting extra?
Yeah, I mean that's huge. I mean, if you get 3 turnovers against Navy, you should win the game, and no one really does that. We were able to do that. So to have 10 to going into the third week to be leading the nation, that's a positive for us. That's one of the things we didn't do last year, and we just have to keep emphasizing that practice. And the players are buying into it. We've scored on defense twice, 2 games in a row, which is really a tremendous thing for those guys. We're obviously never going to try to hurt anybody, but we've knocked the opponent's starting quarterback out the last 2 weeks. So they finished with a different quarterback than they started with. So those are things on defense that if you can get to the quarterback and create turnovers, eventually you're going to win a lot of games. So they're starting to get a taste of what that feels like, and the players now have to take it and run with it and say, get the ball out. Let's rush the quarterback. Let's affect the quarterback. Those are the things we need them to do.
Is it a technique thing or a physicality thing or just more of an emphasis on it in practice?
All 3. It's a good question. I mean, we certainly emphasized it since the end of last year. I think that we do it every day. When they buy into it, they do it at a high level, and then teaching them how to do it, right? Because you don't want to focus so much on turnovers that you're not tackling, right? So you have to be able to tackle and get the ball out at the same time. All right, guys, thanks.